Here's something most guys never figure out about women until it's already too late. Women don't bond with you during the perfect date. They don't bond because you held the door or paid the bill. They don't even bond during intimacy the way most men assume. And they definitely don't bond because you sent 3 hope you got home safe texts in a row. That's not bonding. That's anxiety dressed up as effort. The real bonding happens after one very specific, quiet, emotional moment. And here's the part that catches every guy off guard. It's never the moment she planned. It's not dramatic, no slow motion music, no rainfall. It's subtle, almost invisible. And if you blink, you'll miss it and she might never open up to you again. Most men confuse attraction with bonding, big mistake. If she laughs at your jokes, that's attraction. If she sleeps with you, still attraction. If she texts first, could be either. But bonding is different. Attraction runs on dopamine, excitement, novelty, chase. Bonding runs on oxytocin, trust, safety, emotional imprinting. You can be incredibly attractive to a woman and still be completely replaceable emotionally. Let that sink in. Here's the psychological blind spot. From the moment you meet, she's quietly calibrating. Is he safe? Will he judge me? Can he handle my real self? Women don't drop their guard easily. They reveal in layers. Layer 1, fun personality. Layer 2, stories. Layer 3, opinions. Layer 4, that's where it gets interesting. Layer 4 is vulnerability, and that layer almost never comes out on purpose. It slips. You've probably seen it but didn't recognize it. You're talking good vibe. She's confident, playful. Then suddenly her voice softens. She admits something small and embarrassing. I overthink everything sometimes. Or I don't really trust people easily. Or even I know I can be a lot to handle. She didn't plan to say that. That slipped out. And in that split second, she feels exposed, not terrified, just seen. And now she's watching you closely. Vulnerability without safety creates anxiety. Vulnerability with stability creates bonding. This is the moment that changes everything, because when a woman reveals a vulnerable truth and you don't judge it, fix it, analyze it, or joke it away, something powerful happens in her brain. You stay calm, grounded, present. You look at her like nothing just broke, like she's still composed, attractive, respected. That response, it triggers oxytocin. Her nervous system starts tagging you as emotionally safe. Let's break down the psychology. When someone reveals vulnerability, their brain enters a mild stress state. Slightly elevated heart rate, focus narrows, social risk activated. If your reaction is unstable, panic, overcome, or fixing, her stress rises. If your reaction is solid, calm, steady, her stress drops. And when stress drops after emotional exposure, oxytocin spikes. That's bonding chemistry. She won't even consciously realize it happened. She'll just think, I feel comfortable with him. Comfortable is not boring. Comfortable means her nervous system trusts you. Here's where 90% of guys destroy it without realizing. Mistake 1, trying to fix her. She says, I've been hurt before. You go full emotional mechanic. I'll never hurt you. You can trust me. Slow down. She didn't ask to be fixed. When you rush to repair, you're saying something's wrong with her. Bonding dies. Mistake 2, over-validating. She says, sometimes I feel like I'm too much. You say, no, you're perfect. You're amazing. That feels needy. That feels like you're begging for approval. Strong response, calm. Everyone has layers, that's normal. Short, stable, unbothered. Mistake 3, becoming a therapist. She shares something vulnerable. You lean in like a trauma detective. How did that make you feel? When did that start? Relax. This isn't a counseling session. She wants safety, not analysis. Pressure shuts people down. So what actually works? When she reveals something vulnerable, you stay emotionally steady. Not cold, not distant, just grounded. You listen, you nod slightly, relaxed eye contact. Your energy says, I can handle this. You don't escalate physically. You don't change your tone dramatically. You treat her vulnerability like it's normal, because to a strong man, it is. She doesn't bond hardest after pleasure. She bonds hardest after exposure. Here's a real scenario. You're on a date, vibe is strong. She laughs. Then she says quietly, I sometimes feel like I'm hard to deal with. Pay attention. That's not a random sentence. That's a soft vulnerability test. Weak response. No, you're not. You're amazing. Desperate. Another weak response. Why would you say that? Now she feels pressured. Strong response, slight smile, calm tone. Everyone's a little complicated. That's what makes people interesting. Then you smoothly change the subject. No drama, no deep dive. What just happened? She feels accepted, not judged, not pitied, not analyzed. That relief is powerful. Relief after exposure creates emotional imprinting. She'll leave thinking, I feel different around him, and she won't know why. The deeper truth? Women don't bond hardest after pleasure. They bond hardest after exposure. When she reveals something vulnerable and you don't collapse, chase, fix, or flinch, you a subconscious test. Because here's what she's really asking. Can you handle my emotional depth? If you can't handle a small vulnerability calmly, how will you handle real relationship pressure? Women bond to emotional strength, not dominance, not aggression, emotional steadiness. That's masculine gravity. When vulnerability meets stability, the brain forms an anchor. Her nervous system starts associating you with safety. Safety leads to comfort. Comfort leads to openness. Openness leads to deeper bonding, and bonding leads to emotional investment. It compounds, but only if you stay consistent. If you're steady one day and insecure the next, the attachment weakens. Emotional consistency turns moments into connection. Here's the part most guys won't like. You can't fake this. You can't memorize lines. You can't run a script. If you're internally unstable, she'll feel it. If you're seeking validation, she'll sense it. If you're afraid to lose her, your energy will leak. Bonding doesn't come from it comes from presence. The man who creates deep bonding isn't trying to impress, convince, or rescue. He's simply stable, grounded, centered in himself. When she opens up, he doesn't see weakness. He sees humanity, and he doesn't flinch. So remember this. Women don't bond hardest during the highlight moments. They bond after the quiet emotional exposures, after the sentence she didn't mean to say, after the insecurity she accidentally revealed, after the truth that slipped out. And if you handle that moment correctly, she won't just be attracted to you. She'll feel connected to you. And connection is what keeps her. Level up your emotional stability, not for her, for yourself. Because bonding doesn't happen when you chase her emotions. It happens when you're strong enough to hold them. If this hit home, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. When you are completely predictable, always available, always warm, always responding within seconds, you remove the uncertainty. And without uncertainty, there's no dopamine release, no excitement, no anticipation. You become comfortable, and she starts to take you for granted without even meaning to. Controlled unpredictability doesn't mean being hot and cold. It doesn't mean ignoring her to make her anxious. It means you're genuinely multidimensional. Sometimes you're deeply present and engaged. Other times you're focused on your own world, and she waits. Sometimes you say the unexpected thing. Sometimes you go quiet, not because you're playing games, but because you are an actual complex human being with depth. She hasn't fully mapped yet. That sense of I haven't figured him out completely is one of the most powerful drivers of sustained attraction. You are not a formula. You are not predictable. And that keeps her curious. That keeps her coming back. So here's where we land. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You were operating without information. Every man who struggles with women isn't lacking something. He's missing a map. And now you have one. The signals, the triggers, the invisible language she's speaking when she wants you to step forward. Masculine presence, intentional listening, emotional challenge, selective attention, calibrated vulnerability, gradual physical touch, controlled unpredictability. These are not tricks. These are not manipulations. They are the real mechanics of how human attraction works at a deep psychological level. Use them honestly. Use them with respect. Use them as a man who genuinely cares about the woman in front of him. Not as someone trying to manufacture a result, but as someone who is showing up as his fullest self. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become more of who you already are, but with clarity, with intention, and with the quiet confidence of a man who finally understands the game he's playing. The man who understands this doesn't chase, he becomes. And the right woman will feel that from across the room. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to the My channel, turn on notifications, because the next one will shift your reality.